Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me today. This is Taliesin McKnight, and today I'm going to show you how to make a scrying mirror. This is a device that you can use to communicate face-to-face with spirits in spirit evocation. And you can also use it as a tool of divination within itself. So a scrying device is something that you look at to focus on that helps you to see things, okay? Scrying devices have been used in spirit communication as part of ceremonial magic for at least 2,000 years. We see in the Greek magical papyri many examples of scrying spirits in fire or in ink or in various other surfaces. Many people are familiar with the concept of a crystal ball or stone. John Dee in the 16th century used a scrying stone. He called the shoe stone. Some people like to use a black obsidian mirror, which John Dee himself possessed, a black obsidian mirror. Today I'm going to show you a very simple method where you can make your own scrying mirror very cheaply, very easily, very simply. And this method has worked very well for me. I'm going to show you just how simple this is, y'all. The first thing you'll need is a picture frame. Okay? First thing you'll need is a picture frame. I got this for about $8 at the store. I personally like them larger. I like a larger scrying device. So this is a picture frame I got for $8 at Walmart. Here we have black spray paint. Black spray paint, very simple. And with this, I mean, this didn't hardly cost any money. It was about 13 bucks for all these materials. Basically, a picture frame, black spray paint, and today I'm going to show you the do-it-yourself method so you can create your own scrying device so that you can start experimenting with these methods. Alright, your first step is to take off the back. We'll set that aside. Take out this display picture. And now we're left with the glass itself. Okay? Now you want to make sure that this has been cleaned ahead of time, actually, because you don't want any dust particles or whatever to be in the paint. So what you do is you gently take out the glass and set it on top of some surface like so. And you're just going to do one side. So very simple, very basic. You really don't want the paint to run, so you might want to do several coats. Let it sit for a little bit and then go over it with another coat. I'm going to do this one kind of quickly. Okay, and basically you just keep doing this and keep adding coats until you think that you've got good coverage. Okay, so now we have our scrying mirror. This is a very simple process. As you can see, here we go. Here we have our scrying mirror. Alright. It's very reflective and everything. It's a good scrying mirror. And it's a nice, good size as well. So here we have our scrying mirror. It's very simple. So once you have your mirror constructed, you should do some type of a purification and a consecration. So what are these two things? Purification and consecration. These are two opposing and complementary processes. Simply put, to purify is to remove, and to consecrate is to bring in, okay? So with the purification, you want to get rid of any type of old energies that have been on the scrying device. You want to get rid of especially any kind of negative energies, anything that could hinder your workings. So how do you do this? How do you do a purification? Very simple. Take some water, bless it, and sprinkle and wipe down the scrying mirror. It's really that simple. Bless water, wipe it down. Okay? So one of the qualities of the element of water is that water is receptive. Water and earth are receptive elements. They receive whatever is infused into them. Okay? That is why water is often used to infuse with certain properties for spiritual baths and things like that, in Hoodoo, for example. So basically, you get some water, and it's very popular to take some salt, because sea salt or salt is said to have purifying qualities. Bless the salt, bless the water. You can bless it in the name of the divine. You can bless it however you want to do it. Mix these together, and then you will wipe down your scrying mirror. So that is a very simple purification. You could also use incense or burn cleansing herbs to cleanse your mirror. Now, as for the consecration, unless your mirror is for something very specific, I would leave any consecrations to be very open, okay? So a consecration is when you dedicate something to a purpose and you infuse it with energy. So like I said, a purification gets rid of. A consecration brings in. So you're bringing in energy into your scrying device. So if you want your scrying mirror to be used to communicate with all kinds of different spirits, if you want to be able to use your mirror for general purposes, then you would need a general consecration. So if you consecrated your mirror under the full moon, that's something very popular. Lots of people suggest that you consecrate it under a full moon. I do not suggest that, because that is very specific to lunar energies. What if you want to work with Saturnine energies? Or what if you want to work with Mars, or spirits of Venus, or of the Sun? So each of these things are very specific. So for your consecration, I would just do a very general, just a blessing. Bless it to your purpose. Bless it to the divine. Bless it to accomplish your will, to facilitate communication. So basically, magic and ritual is a symbolic representation of your intent. So after you've got your mirror, you should purify and consecrate your mirror. So that is very basic. Construct it, purify it, consecrate it. You will also want to wrap your mirror in some type of a cloth, linen or silk, or whatever the case may be. It needs to be something only for this purpose. So I highly recommend that you get some type of a silk cloth or some type of a cloth or linen or something to wrap your mirror. The reason being is that you're keeping away external energies. You're keeping your mirror from being touched or tarnished by external forces. So this really all has to do with, after you constructed your mirror, purified, it's cleansed and blessed and covered to keep it from getting contaminated with the external energies around it. So how do you use your mirror? You've built your mirror, you've purified and consecrated it, you have it all prepared. How do you use it? Basically, you can just use a scrying device just for divination. But in this video, I'm talking about spirit communication. So, scrying devices have been used for thousands of years in order to communicate with these entities and things like that. So basically, I highly recommend a period of purification before you use this. I talked about this in a recent video. Before you work with any type of spirits like this, I highly recommend that you undergo a short period of purification, self-purification, okay? You need to purify yourselves before you start delving into this type of magic. So, where do we see this? First of all, we see this in the Greek magical papyri. So, this is the Greek magical papyri. And this is a collection of magical spells from around 2,000 years ago. This is a collection of magical spells dating from around the 2nd century BCE to around the 5th century of our Common Era. This is the Greek magical papyri. This is a collection of magical spells from Egypt, but it includes Egyptian, Greek, Babylonian, some Hebrew, different forms of magic. The Greek magical papyri, I think, is the most important text that any serious ceremonial magician should possess. You should have this book. Okay, so the Greek magical papyri is full of examples of using scrying devices to communicate with spirits. Now, this knowledge continues in the Middle Ages and in the Renaissance with the various grimoires, such as the Key of Solomon, the Lemegeton, the Polynards, the Enochian magic systems, all of these different, the Almadel. The various grimoire traditions also often use scrying equipment, okay? And again, you get this also from the Greek magical papyri. Papyri Graecae Magicae, or the PGM. I highly recommend this. So, basically, the PGM almost always suggests a period of purification. So, in ancient Greco-Egyptian magic, they underwent purification before working with this type of magic. And you also see purification periods within the Key of Solomon, within the various grimoires. So, you're free to work with this magic however you want. Who am I to tell you how to do your magic, right? But I highly recommend that you undergo a period of purification because this is how this magic has been passed down, and this is how you can better work with this type of magic more safely. So I would recommend, let's say, 7 days, a minimum of 3 days of sexual abstinence, abstaining from intoxicants, and good works. So, again, the sexual abstinence, things like this has nothing to do with being prude, okay? This came from the pagan magical teachings. This is about conserving energy, but letting your energies build up, okay? So, I would undergo a period of purification. So, second of all, another thing to consider is what type of a spirit do you want to work with? If you're working with planetary spirits, then you may choose to work with the planetary days and hours, so that the 7 days of the week are assigned to the 7 ancient planets. Sunday is the day of the sun. Moon day is the day of the moon. Tuesday is the day of Mars, Wednesday to Mercury, Thursday to Jupiter, Friday to Venus, Saturday to Saturn. And again, you find this type of a system in the Greek magical papyri as well as in the grimoire traditions. So you may choose to work with the planetary day and hour. So this is often seen to be helpful. So with planetary spirits, let's say you want to work with a spirit of Mars. You want to summon a spirit of Mars and communicate through your scrying mirror. Basically, Tuesday at sunrise will be the day and hour of Mars. Or let's say you want to work with a solar spirit, Sunday at sunrise. So the cool thing about planetary hours is that sunrise is always the same hour as of the day. So really, I'm kind of just pushing through this information really quickly, but in future videos I plan to take each aspect of this and go into fuller detail, okay? But just understand that in the Greek magical papyri and in the grimoire tradition, and what I would suggest is that you purify yourself before trying out any of these experiments. Okay, I would suggest 7 days, at a very minimum 3 days. So the self-purification, planetary days and hours are helpful. I would also recommend that you have some type of a circle boundary and a triangle of the art. Again, this is really for your own protection. Just realize that this type of magic can be very dangerous. So the purifications, the circle of the art and triangle of the art, these are really for your protection. Okay? So this is a very simple setup. You need to have a circle boundary around you that is protective. And then the triangle of the art is what you will place the scrying mirror in. Okay? So very simply, you could use chalk to mark these on the ground. You could use salt. You could use flour. Flour is very easily used. If you needed to, you could use a cord or rope. You could use tape even. Just in some way, I would suggest that in some way you mark a circle on the ground and a triangle outside the circle. You will be in the circle, your scrying device and the sigil of the spirit will be in the triangle of the art. So this is very simple and very basic, but I provide this information because there are people out there that don't know. There are people out there that need this type of information. Have a candle on each side of the mirror, and you will need to cleanse the area, and you'll need to call on whatever spirit. You'll need to push your energies into the circle area around you, which is protective. And then you can call upon the spirit with whatever name. So again, in this video is mostly about constructing a mirror and basic overview of its use, okay? In future videos, I will take each element of this and I will elaborate. But quite simply, make your mirror, purify, consecrate, wrap it. And when you're ready, you'll need to trace a circle around you and a triangle of the art. The circle protects you, and you communicate through the triangle with this scrying device. Whenever you're done, give the spirit the license to depart, and you'll want to cleanse the area again. Either with a ritual such as the banishing rituals of the pentagram and hexagram, or through blessed water and incense. There are different methods, but in some way you'll want to clear the area. So that is just a basic rundown of how to make a scrying mirror and how you can begin working with this to communicate with spirits. Scrying mirrors can be used to communicate with planetary intelligences and spirits. It could be used to communicate with planetary archangels. It could be used to communicate with elementals. It could be used to communicate with all kinds of things. But this is part of an ancient technology, and this is something you see in the Greek magical papyri, and you see it in the grimoire traditions of the last 2,000 years. This is an ancient form of knowledge. And that is a basic overview of how you can create your own scrying mirror and how you can begin using it to communicate with spirits. Again, new videos come out every Saturday morning. If you want to support my work, click the Patreon link below. And I will see you guys next Saturday. Thank you for joining me.